Hey everybody, it is Fallon, your favorite Cali girl, or I probably should say your favorite relocated Cali girl. So I wanted to do something, come and speak about something that has been near and dear and on my heart lately, and that has been my recovery from my open myomectomy or my fibroid removal surgery. So I wanted to do this because as I was leading up to my surgery, there was a lot of anxiety and pressure that I put on myself. And so I felt like as I went through this process, I wanted to make sure that I journaled some things that I felt would be important for other women to know, to hear from somebody that has actually gone through the open myomectomy surgery. And even if you're listening to this as somebody that's trying to be a support for somebody that is going through this process. So I just felt like, I wanted to come. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but I wanted to come and just share, some things that I have gone through. I am actually heading into, Monday will be heading into week 8 for me. And I want to start off with saying, I am no medical expert, but I want to say that I am a expert in my own experience going through this. And so again, I wanted to just make sure that I opened up the opportunity or provided the opportunity to share some things that I went through with my surgery. I will also say I'm gonna try to break this down into sections in my educator way. I'm gonna try to start off with, before you head into surgery, right? So you know that you have a surgery date. So some things that helped me leading up into the actual surgery date, and then moving into the section, if you will, of, okay, I'm checking into the hospital, I'm being wheeled back into the room, what's gonna happen during my hospital stay, and then once you are released from the hospital and you are recovering at home. So going to try to break it down into some sections. Again, I'm going to try my best to be as concise as possible, and hopefully depending on if I get some questions with this, I'll do my best to come back and do a more detailed video. But the first thing that I would say is have the surgery. Have the surgery, have the surgery, have the surgery. All of the feelings that you might be having about, will I wake up? These thoughts about having to ask for help, the feelings about feeling dependent on other people during this process. The one thing that I can say, if nothing else, is that having the surgery has really, really changed my life. I'm somebody who, I'm a go-getter. I define myself as a hustler. Like, I can do it. And the fibroids over the years have really, really I want to say put a halt and a stunt in some places on me obtaining my goals, whether they be exercise and fitness goals. I was training for a full marathon and fell out on marathon day, completed a half marathon prior to that, but running and taking care of my body, sitting in work meetings and having to literally lift my stomach up to sit down because it felt like a cantaloupe was sitting in my stomach. And I'm going to keep it real, even sex life, right? Like being uncomfortable, whether it be, certain positions or feeling pressure, on your pelvis. So everything it is that, you would think would cause pleasure, or things it is that you would like in life, and these fibroids really getting in the way. I think the doctors call it your quality of life, really getting that back. So definitely have the surgery, okay? I'm going down my notes, so bear with me. It's going to be life-changing, okay? I was somebody also that I was nauseous all day long. I used to have to, I used to have to walk around with morning sickness candies. It got that bad. I had an embarrassing moment where I was in Target and I had morning sickness candies, morning sickness tea, and the Target checkout lady was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I'm like, in my head, I was like, no, So the idea of having people mistake, your fibroid bloat for pregnancy, in addition to asking, are you pregnant? I think you kind of get some of those things back. But being nauseous all the time, I got that back. I mean, after surgery, literally, I have not been nauseous since then. The cycles, feeling like you just want to be in the fetal position on your cycles, not wanting to do anything. You have constant headaches, constant body pains. For me, it even got bad to where I was having joint pain. It literally felt like somebody was beating my head with a brick on my cycles prior to me having the surgery. So again, have have the surgery, it is something that can be life-changing and hopefully alleviate pressure, but also giving yourself some grace that this is going to take some time. Healing is a process, okay? I'm in week 8. Heading into week 8, I'm feeling a little better, but there are still some moments of pain, especially around my incision. But when I tell you, as if you're reading blogs, if you are doing your own research, it is true. Every day you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, so again, breaking this up into a couple of sections, bear with me. So yeah, the first thing that I would say, right, again, you have your surgery date. And what I would say leading up into that is, one, giving yourself permission to feel all the feels. Like, and when I say all the feels, like every single emotion that you have, whether it be uncertainty, anxiety, being sad, thinking about the long run. And when I say long run, I mean, okay, what the joy that you will get when you notice that, your stomach goes down just a little bit after you have the surgery. Even thinking about, will I wake up? Feel all of that. I think that is a part of the process, and those feelings are okay. So definitely allowing yourself to be in that space of feeling every single emotion that you have, and finding a place to jot it down. Whether that be, on in a journal, or whether that be, you're taking notes on your phone, whether that be you are talking with a friend, but allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to be in whatever space that you need to feel, so that you can get to your surgery date. And when I tell you, for me, I went up and down, up and down, up and down. I cannot say thank you enough to one of my homegirls at work. She noticed, she checked in on me. Again, I feel like as women, sometimes we really try to put on the face and be okay, but during this entire process for me, it was painful, and even with it being painful, in other areas of my life, I noticed for myself, and so did she, that I was just becoming very anxious. So she actually got me a coloring book. I'm going to try to make sure that I posted it in some way. In the coloring book, the title was "Calm the Fuck Down." Right? And I cannot be, more grateful to the fact that, one, she noticed that, this is somebody that is going through something, that I would call or say, my sister in a work, in a friendship light, but also like, let me reach out as a friend, check on her, but also give her a message, calm the fuck down, that things are going to be okay. So, going through all of your feelings, knowing that things are going to turn out well in the end, and start thinking about, you getting your life back. So first things first, calm down, but also feel your feels. And the things that I'm going to go down, I'm going to try to make sure that I elaborate. Like, this is in no particular order. I am not a medical professional. These are things that I just felt were helpful for me. So after you are giving yourself permission to feel all the feels, I would say start thinking about how you're going to set up house, right? And when I say set up house, for me, what was really important is I'm somebody that likes to be outside. We are in a global pandemic, and so I have a balcony that is attached to my location. So what was important to me was making sure that I was able to be outside, because I wouldn't be able to move and shake and groove how I please. I wouldn't be able to get in the car and just drive. So being able to put a patio, really, really invest in my patio area was something that was important for me to be able to comfortably be outside. Also, what I mean by setting up house is thinking about where you're going to sleep, how you're going to sleep. I know when I was doing my research, I know a lot of people were saying that they had to find and adjust how it is that they were sleeping, what they were sleeping on, what they were sleeping in, as far as clothing. So that is something that I would say was really important for me. Something that I purchased was one of the pillows with like the arms that you have, and I knew that I probably would not be able to sleep flat on my back, so it would have to be in some sort of way reclined. So I went ahead and I purchased a pillow. I went ahead and I purchased, what else did I purchase? I purchased even throw pillows, because even though the pillow that I had arms and it would help me recline, the best way that I found myself sleeping was kind of like I was on an airplane and I had that window seat, right? So I would be reclined on the couch just enough with my arms, my arm pillow, and then I would have to adjust a throw pillow on the side of my head, because reclining any further would stretch my incision and that would hurt a little bit. and also getting up, so I had to make sure that I was sleeping in a way, or thinking about, right, because this is before everything, thinking about what's the best way to sleep to not irritate my incision. Thinking about any pills or lozenges or teas that you might need. So for me, I was really worried about being nauseous. I had read a lot of information about being nauseous after surgery. So I went ahead and purchased some morning sickness tea, some morning sickness pills. I also went ahead and got some. What did I get? I got some throat lozenges, and the reason why I got the throat lozenges is because they intubate you, or they put I guess the tube down your throat. You're going to come out of surgery with a scratchy throat. And so something that I read, about pre-surgery is because the coughing would hurt your incision, if you will, that incision area, making sure that you try to get some throat lozenges. Think about getting a journal. And I would say also think about clothing. You're not going to want anything on your incision, not at all. I actually have a horizontal incision. And so where my incision is, and I got the super, super, super high panties that come up to my belly button. So I read enough, did enough information, or information searching, if you will, to where the panties that I got came up high enough. If you were doing a vertical incision, I don't know. That is not my specialty, but I would say even still looking up clothing that you are going to want to be in. You're not going to want anything on your incisions, so try to get something that is almost like a nightgown, long nightgown, or almost like maxi dresses. That was something that helped me. Talked about getting a journal. These last couple of things I really felt helped me tremendously. And one of those things would be preparing your body for surgery. The body is a beautiful thing. And I can say that as somebody who I like to try to say that I'm into fitness. I try to do my best with eating as healthy as I can. But really, really taking it personal, making it my mission to prepare my body for surgery. And what I mean by that is, really doing some research on, the foods that you need to eat to help, build certain vitamins in your body. I think that is so critical. In addition to that, for me, I ate a lot of fish. I ate a lot of veggies. I ate a lot of sweet potatoes. But again, preparing your body to repair itself. I think if you do the pre-work beforehand heading into surgery, I really felt like that was something that helped me throughout my journey. Your water intake is really, really important. And also working out. I actually reached out to a few of my lady friends that had C-sections. And something that I found common between people that had C-sections and people that had, the open myomectomy, as I was doing my own research, was, the more you prepare your body physically, mentally, emotionally for surgery, hopefully the better you'll come out on the end. And me heading into week 8, I really felt like me paying attention to what I was eating, what I was putting into my body, and working out pre-surgery was the reason why my recovery was not the worst, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and pretend in any way that recovery was great, but it was not the worst. Definitely some pain, but working out, especially your core. I was doing Shanti Insanity, and then once I finished Insanity, I did Insanity 30, and that might be a little much, and I was probably walking probably about 2.5 miles, maybe 3 miles per day. But again, I was trying to prepare my body for what it would go through, because again, for me, I went into surgery, so we're heading in, this is about 2 months. So not being able to move as much for 2 months, being in the best physical shape that you can be in is something that I would say is healthy and helpful for your process. So again, eating right, water intake, and working out are ways that I felt like helped me leading into surgery, especially looking back on now the fact that I'm in week 8. Being kind to your body, and I mean, it got to the point for me working out with my fibroids that, even doing sit-ups, it felt like a cantaloupe was in my stomach. It was. Essentially one was. So making sure that you are doing the workouts that you can do for your body, okay? For me, I typically do CrossFit style workouts. As I mentioned, I was training for marathon, so those are things that my body knows and is familiar with. So definitely making sure that you're doing something that is comfortable for your body. But I will say I definitely went into surgery surgery in probably the best physical shape that I've been in a very long time, physically, okay? The last two things is breathe. Feel all the feels. And again, I would say giving yourself some grace, right? Giving yourself some grace to feel the feels, giving yourself some grace to go through every single emotion. As I mentioned, like, am I gonna wake up? Oh my gosh, I have to depend on people. For me, my mom, worrying about my mom coming out here to where it is that I am in a global pandemic was a lot. Having to think about, oh my gosh, she has to get tested. She has to quarantine before coming in to see me. I have to quarantine after I get my COVID test. Those are all things that can be anxiety provoking, especially leading into your surgery. So really allowing yourself the time to feel those things, understand those things, I think were and are healthy. And I think it's a part of the process. Anything it is that you're going through, allow yourself time to go through the process of what it is that you're feeling. So really quick recap. Give yourself permission to feel all the emotions, okay, heading into surgery. Again, your surgery date, you know that you are going to be cut open, you know that you are going to have an open myomectomy, in the end game, you're going to get those fibroids removed, you're going to be able to really start to regain some of those things in life that really increase your quality of life, whether it be exercise, whether it be going out, whether it be, not feeling like you just want to stay in the house, on your cycle, whether it be getting back to having a pleasurable sex life. Like, those are things for me that were important as far as heading into the surgery and things that I was looking forward to. Start thinking about your house setup. Step stools are something that I also invested in because I knew that I would not be able to move, kind of grab things as I needed to. I also know that I would not be able to get in the bed, so I ended up having to purchase certain types of pillows so that I could rest comfortably. Doing that Target run, the last couple of Target runs, because you might not be able to go to Target or do your Walmart shopping for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. So even thinking about ways where you can get those things delivered to you ahead of time, okay? Clothing, nightgowns, those things, maxi dresses, right? Things that you have that you don't have to think about your incision. And also thinking about getting a journal so that you can write down all the feels throughout this process. Preparing your body mentally, emotionally, physically, eating right, okay? I just wanted to recap that. Working out, especially your core, that is something that I think, again, helped me getting up and out of the bed, looking back, getting up and out of the hospital bed. I think we minimize the amount of effort we put into using our core. And so making sure if you have a strong core heading into surgery, or build your core, not saying that you're going to come out of this with a six-pack, right? But building up those muscles, I think, can really help. Breathing, doing some deep breathing, doing some yoga, doing some meditation, really getting yourself in the mindset of what it's going to be to go through this process, because it is a journey. And then lastly, giving yourself some grace to feel all the feels. Give yourself some grace to go through the process. So I hope that was a little helpful. I'm going to turn the page, if you will, and talk about surgery day and in the hospital. So I hope that helped a little bit as far as preparing for surgery, heading into your open myomectomy.